Hey, we are back for week 11, halfway through month 3. Baby's now the size of a strawberry. Oh, that's a really big strawberry, sorry. Strawberry. Its brain is half the size of the body. It has fingers and toes now. We have hair follicles. We have nail beds. We have nasal passages. We have our tongue palates. We have our visible nipples. Yes, that's right, visible nipples. You can start to see they're straightening their torso, which is saying a lot about muscle form as well. We are slowly maturing into a human people. We are getting all of the details. And now that we are officially a fetus, that's really what you're going to be mainly hearing me say, is that more things are just adding on and making it essentially all of these systems that are kind of already at play way more detailed and way more human-esque, if you will. Especially until the end of the second trimester. End of the second trimester, everything is formed. At that point, all that's going on is maturity to actually be ready for the outside world and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Adding on that weight is everything getting to proper size, everything, your baby's getting bigger, brain is, making sure everything is exactly where it should be and how big it should be so that it can withstand life outside of the utero. So right now you're really going to hear me just spouting off at the mouth of all these cute little details that your little fetus is growing. And because of that, you might find yourself more hungry this week. You also are going to, like I said, slowly start to say, they say this is the week that things start to slow down. Because of all of this, you're going to start your new normal. Now, I will say that doesn't mean you won't get smacked in the face with another symptom, something happening, whatever, especially as you get bigger. But we're starting getting over that first huge hump of the first trimester that is absolutely disgusting and miserable for the really majority of individuals. Now, you may find yourself gassier. Again, that's just literally everything. Your stomach is already being pushed. Your intestines are already being pushed. It's very common to be constipated. It's very common to be gassier. That's kind of the first organ system outside of your reproductive system that is kind of getting impacted first because of pregnancy. Because even, you have to think that in the body, even an inch difference makes a huge difference. And it's not like fat that's kind of weighing down on it. It's coming up and pushing things this way, which is, completely nothing that it gets used to. It does have to get used to things like fat, but it's working in a direction that it's not used to, even with fat, because fat lays on top of the organs, and it's super fast. So don't be worried about most things with your stomach. Let your doctor know always, let your midwife know always, question it just to be safe, but please know a majority of that is very normal. Now, things to just start to kind of get used to now that we're over the misery and the sicknesses is your sex drive is going to be all over the place. My first time, didn't really notice the difference in my sex drive. I have very high sex drive. Normally had a high sex drive pretty much the whole entire time, outside of when I was nauseous. Now, my twins, I didn't really have a change necessarily. I slowed down a little bit, but the biggest thing is I was extremely dry down there. Extremely dry. Like, I needed way more lube than I've ever normally needed. And even though I was feeling pleasure, it still just wasn't enough. And again, really common right now. I was pregnant with twins, so it's double the hormones. So if you have multiples, you have to think they do have to add more hormones because there's multiple things going on here. So it's very common, and even if you don't have multiples, it's very common, period. Also really common for your skin to start to get dry. I mean, literally, you have to think in your head, as much as people joke, that they suck all of your energy from the inside out. It's true. It's 100% true. And on top of it, your skin kind of is getting a little messed up because of these hormones. These hormones are the hormones that normally affect your skin anyways when it comes to balance, stress, and so it's kind of, weakening. And your skin outside barrier is much weaker when you're pregnant. Like I said, you need sunscreen, so dry skin kind of comes along with that. Another thing with hormones, especially the estrogen, is you can have a metallic taste in your mouth. You may think that you have blood in your mouth. It's, for some reason, the higher your estrogen is, the metallic taste you get in your mouth. And another thing is to stay on top of your tooth care. I found this out after my first one. It's very high chance to bleed in your mouth, very high chance to lose teeth during your pregnancy. If you didn't really have that well of teeth before, they're not going to get any better when you're pregnant. I'll let you know that. And I'm terrible about teeth health. I really am. It's hard for me to stay on top of the dentist. It's hard for me to stay on top of brushing my teeth, just from my own ailments. So I learned my lesson after my first round. In my second round, I took my teeth care way more seriously, knowing that in between I'm not very good. So if there's ever a time to be good about teeth, it's then, and that's coming from a person that's terrible about taking care of their teeth. But that's kind of everything I wanted to go over for week 11. We didn't really rush through. Like I said, as the weeks kind of go on, you'll see that these videos really aren't super long, just because only so much happens every week. And we're going week by week. If we were going month by month, it'd be a different story. But I want to go week by week on purpose so you can slowly see the progression and kind of know that this is kind of the time to start thinking about these things and that kind of stuff. So that's all of week 11. Next is week 12, and that's the end of not only the first trimester, but also month number 3.